Hi, I'm Eric, Leadership Developed. During my leadership journey, I've come across different leaders who love to share their experiences. We had the conversation of what they went through, what they're going through, and how they're continuing to grow as a leader. I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to have conversations with 20-somethings who are doing more than most people do in their 40s and 50s. This week, we're going to start off a series of videos in which we're talking with leaders who are in their 20s who talk about their journey, who talked about how they're continuing and growing and what they want to share with others no matter where they're at in their leadership journey. We're going to have a conversation with Alex Cottingham. Alex is the head coach of a CrossFit gym. He's in charge of 10 coaches and 300 athletes. His experience has forced him to become the leader that his community needs. So Alex, in your own words, what is your definition of leadership?
I like the John Maxwell edition that leadership is influence. Okay. That leadership is not given, it's not earned, it's not a title or position. Leadership is simply the influence you have over the people that you lead and the people that you coach. So the amount of influence that I have over my coaches, my staff, and my athletes is my leadership. So that's the definition I like to go over. It's not really a leader leading from authority because, yeah, even though I do have that authority, that's a subpar way to lead because you're just relying on a position or a title or something that's been given to you rather than the relational equity that you've developed through the influence that you have. So my definition is leadership is influence.
So how large is your coaching staff?
So we have 10 coaches, we have 2 owners, I'm the head coach, and then we have 4 or 5 full-time coaches and then 3 part-time coaches. So a decent crew.
Okay, and so how do you create a culture of trust that everyone feels like they can take ownership of it?
So trust is very important. It's the relational oil that keeps the whole engine pumping on all cylinders, right? So one thing that we do is we meet weekly in our weekly meetings and just check in on how everyone's doing. Because when it comes to trust, you need to have face-to-face interaction. You need to have that relational equity. Mm-hmm. But also, we go over our core values every single week, and one of our core values is believe the best. Mm-hmm. Because trusting is believing the best when there's a gap. Instead of assuming the worst, like, oh, they're late because they have poor time management skills, we believe the best on, oh, maybe there's a legit excuse. So just always assuming the best about people, and we constantly hit that in our team meetings. So just ensuring that we're all on the same page. And when there is a gap, we go to that person and ask them, hey, I noticed that X, Y, and Z, so that you don't assume the worst and let suspicion creep in. We're always believing the best and always trusting. So we hit that weekly.
How do you maintain accountability within your leadership team, amongst your coaches, where it's more positive and creating that culture?
Sure. The way I look at accountability from a negative sense is really just micromanaging. That if I'm going to hold them accountable but make them do what I want them to do, that's just micromanaging, and no one likes to be micromanaged. We like to value things of freedom and independence and letting coaches coach the way they want to, which is letting their natural gifts and abilities come out in their coaching. But we also have metrics that we need to hit as far as following up with everybody who's interested in the gym, make sure we're coaching in classes, making sure we're fist bumping people as much as we can, holding them accountable in those team meetings. So just really encouraging them and casting vision for where they could go in a positive sense, rather than looking at the things they're not doing. So it's really about perspective and focus in our team meetings and just really coaching on the gym floor.
Okay, so how do you get your coaches then to take ownership? I mean, you have ownership because you're the head coach, and then you have your owners who are the owners. But how do you get those coaches, especially the part-time ones who are like going, this is my side gig? You know, how do you get them to take ownership?
So ownership is important because it's a mentality of you are an owner rather than just an employee or a user. So one, it's one of our core values as well, own it, that if you see something that needs to be done, assume that you're the one that needs to do it, because we value that and we hit that every single week to kind of drill into our staff. But also, the way we structure our gym model is that we also get a percentage of people's memberships that go to our pay sheet, as long as we are owning their health and fitness journey to check in with them. So for example, I have check-ins with my athletes to make sure that they are hitting their health and fitness goals and getting the encouragement and advice that they want. So I have a sense of ownership because they are really my athletes. Now, when it comes to the facility, we do weekly cleanings and we make sure that everything is good to go. And we just, whenever we see a need, we meet it. So we're constantly not leaving gaps or filling those gaps.
How do you deal with your leadership challenges with not only your leadership team, but the whole population? your whole gym population, let's put it that way.
One of the values and awesome things about a CrossFit community is it's a community. There's lots of people, but with a lot of people comes a lot of different opinions. And many times, people will go around the person rather than to the person. And if something they don't like or something that needs to be changed, or they would rather see this type of workout or this type of event, everyone has opinions. And unless we're intentional, the culture will drift to gossip and drama and talking about that person rather than to that person. So something that I try to model and emulate and also lead from the forefront on leadership challenges is, hey, rather than talking about, you need to talk directly to that person, because a lot of times when you pick up the phone or go to that person, issues tend to come down, problems are solved, we're meeting in the middle rather than drama going this way, sideways energy creating this way. So we just address it head on. We don't let any drama or gossip kind of ruin the culture that we have here. So that's what we like to preserve. So that's one of the ways.
Is it true you're only 26 years old?
I'll be 27 next month.
That is awesome that you have this much wisdom, this much experience, and yet you still have the world wide open to you.
I appreciate that.
Yes. Okay, so you have mentioned your the institution's core values. So I'm interested, what are these core values?
1 is go the extra mile. 2 is believe the best. 3 is fill your cup, so that we're not just pouring from an empty cup. We're doing the things that we need to for self-care. Be humble, own it, believe the best, and care the way that you want to be cared for. So those just emulate the things that if we did every single day as a coaching staff, that would start to leak into our community as well.
Is there anything in your mind that I'm missing that will help you represent what your beliefs of leadership is?
That's a great question. I think when it comes to our context here at the gym, one of the best ways from my position in our coaching staff to lead well is to model what we're asking our people to do. So instead of just talking the talk, we walk the walk. So instead of just coaching and leaving, we participate in the classes with our people. We do the workouts so that we have a shared suffering that brings us together. We understand, we have empathy and compassion rather than saying, oh, hey, we're super fit people telling you what to do, shame on you, blah, blah, blah. That's not it at all. We're right there in the trenches, like leading from the side, saying, hey, let's do this together rather than from a pedestal. So that's just one of the ways we like to model leadership. So, because I think leadership is caught rather than taught. So that's just one way that we like to do it with our people.
I'd like to thank Alex Cottingham for having this conversation with me to be able to share it with you. If you like this video, hey, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. While you're at it, hey, hit subscribe. Help us build our community of growing leaders who want to share what they've learned. If you missed last week's video, check it out. It's right over here. We will talk to you again next week.